Howdy Google Ads fans, and welcome back. In this very quick lecture, we're going to talk about language settings real quick. So let's jump back into the computer and take a look at language settings. Google prompts us to select the languages your customers speak. It defaults to English since this is an English Google Ads account. You could select multiple languages, you could select all languages, you could select one language, it's up to you. But how does this really work? Okay, so say for example, you're selling hats online and you want to target Spanish customers, Spanish speaking customers. You could create ads in Spanish, written in Spanish, and you could have keywords that are Spanish keywords. And you could select the language Spanish for your campaigns, okay? Which means if somebody is in the United States, let's say, but has their Google interface settings, Google calls this your Google interface settings, set to Spanish, and people, when you sign up for a Google account, you could select your default languages. So if a person goes to Google and searches in Spanish, or even searches in English, but they have their settings set to Spanish, then your ads will be eligible to show if you're targeting Spanish-speaking people. However, and this is important to remember, if a Spanish-speaking person is searching on google.com in Spanish, but their settings are default to English, then your ads will not show. If you're only targeting Spanish-speaking people, you'd also have to target English-speaking people. So a very common approach to people who want to also serve Spanish-speaking people, you would select English and Spanish. Remember that even if you select Spanish as a language, that doesn't mean Google's going to translate your ads. They're not going to translate your ads. If your ads are written in English and your keywords are in English, that's how they're going to appear. So if you only have English ads and a person is searching in Google in Spanish, then most likely they're not going to see your ads. Google detects, Google properties have default languages. So google.com defaults to English, google.fr defaults to French, so on and so forth. When a person is searching using one of those language-specific or location-specific domains, the results that they're going to see are going to be by default in that language. So if a person is searching on google.fr and you don't have any French ads, then no ads will be shown, even if you're targeting French-speaking people and even if you're targeting that location that the ads are appearing in. So remember, it's important. On the search network, it always goes by what Google calls your Google interface settings, which is settings in a person's Google account, which detects what language in Google by default you're going to be interacting with. So for us, most of the time, we're a New York-based agency. Our ads are in English, but for you, it might be different. Let's say your customers are they speak French, so I could start typing in French, and I could select French. And if I want to do Spanish, I could type in Spanish. I might do Hebrew. Right, so I have all these different languages, and that's fine, that could work. On the right-hand side, Google will suggest that I could add English. So if I want to add English, I could just click Add All, and it will add English in there, and I can remove each one individually by just Xing out of the ones that I don't want. For us, we're gonna select English because I don't want my ads showing up when people search in Spanish, or if people have their default settings, their interface settings set to Spanish, because my website is not in Spanish. So you have to think about that as well. We don't have a Spanish website for this client. What language is your website or landing page is going to be in? What language are your ads in? And this should be a really, really straightforward setting to configure. And again, this is also a setting that you can come back and change anytime. In the next lecture, we're going to start talking about budget, and it's going to be fun. I look forward to seeing you very soon in that next lecture.